Why were Allied tank crews so terrified of one German tank that they started seeing it everywhere, even when it wasn't there? This is the story of the Tiger tank, the most feared armored vehicle of World War II. Germany only built about 300 of them. Compare that to 50,000 American Shermans. And yet, by 1944, Allied soldiers were reporting thousands of Tiger sightings. Far more than actually existed. They called it Tiger fear. And it was real. To understand why Allied tank crews were so terrified, we need to look at the numbers. Let's compare the Tiger to the American M4 Sherman, the most common Allied tank, the tank that's supposed to win the war. The Sherman has a 75mm gun. At 500 meters, it can penetrate about 70 millimeters of armor. The Sherman's frontal armor is 50mm thick. Its top speed is 40 kilometers per hour. Weight, 30 tons. Now the Tiger. The Tiger has an 88mm gun, the same gun Germany uses to shoot down aircraft. But in a tank, it's devastating. At 500 meters, it can penetrate 130 millimeters of armor. At 2,000 meters, over 2 kilometers away, it can still penetrate 100 millimeters. The Tiger's frontal armor is 100 millimeter thick, angled, almost impossible to penetrate from the front. Top speed, 38 kilometers per hour. Weight, 60 tons. Here's the critical number, the one that kept Allied commanders awake at night. A Sherman needs to get within 300 meters of a Tiger to have any chance of penetrating its armor. And even then, only from the side or rear. A frontal shot? The shell just bounces off. Meanwhile, a Tiger can destroy a Sherman from over 2,000 meters away. That's not a fight, that's an execution. The unofficial rule becomes, it takes 5 Shermans to kill 1 Tiger, and 4 of those Shermans are going to burn. So how did this beast come to exist? Let's go back to 1942. The Eastern Front is a nightmare for German tank crews. Soviet T-34s and KV-1s are destroying their Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs. German tanks that dominated Poland and France are suddenly obsolete. Their guns can't penetrate Soviet armor. Their armor can't stop Soviet shells. Tank crews are dying by the hundreds. Hitler demands a heavy tank, something invincible. 2 companies submit designs. The army chooses Henschel's design. They call it the Panzerkampfwagen 6. Everyone else just calls it the Tiger. August 1942. The first Tigers roll off the production line. Immediately there are problems. The tank weighs 60 tons. That's twice as heavy as a Sherman. It breaks bridges, gets stuck in mud. It's a logistics nightmare. But when it works, when it actually makes it to the battlefield, it's devastating. The Tiger makes its combat debut in September 1942 near Leningrad. 4 Tigers attack Soviet positions. 3 break down immediately. The 4th gets stuck in a swamp. German commanders are furious. But the engineers improve the reliability. And in early 1943, the Tiger goes to North Africa. And that's where it becomes a legend. British and American tank crews in Tunisia encounter Tigers for the first time. It's a massacre. They watch their shells bounce off Tiger armor from 500 meters. Meanwhile, Tigers are destroying Shermans from 2 kilometers away. Tank crews refuse to advance. Some abandon their tanks and run when they hear a Tiger is nearby. One British officer writes in his diary, "It's not a tank. It's a fortress on tracks. We can't fight it. We can only run." American General Omar Bradley receives report after report of Tiger sightings. Far more than the Germans actually have. He realizes what's happening. His men are so scared, they're seeing Tigers everywhere. Tiger fear has set in. Allied tank crews develop tactics. Never engage a Tiger alone. Always attack from multiple directions. Try to get behind it. Use artillery. Use air support. Do anything except face it head-on. There's a famous encounter in Normandy, July 1944. A single Tiger, commanded by Michael Whitman, encounters a British column. Tanks, half-tracks, supply trucks. In 15 minutes, he destroys 14 tanks, 15 personnel carriers, and 2 anti-tank guns. By himself. 1 tank. The British call it the Villers-Bocage disaster. Wittmann becomes a legend, and Allied tank crews become even more terrified. By mid-1944, Allied intelligence estimates there are thousands of Tigers on the Western Front. There aren't. There are maybe 200. But that's how powerful Tiger fear has become. Every German tank becomes a Tiger in the minds of Allied crews. Intelligence officers have to physically inspect wrecked tanks to prove they're not Tigers. But here's where the story takes a turn. Because while the Tiger is dominating battlefields, it's also destroying the German war effort from the inside. The Tiger costs 300,000 Reichsmarks to build. A Panzer IV costs 100,000. One Tiger costs as much as 3 regular tanks, and it takes 3 times longer to build. Germany produces about 25 Tigers per month. America produces 2,000 Shermans per month. The math doesn't work. Then there's maintenance. The Tiger is a mechanical nightmare. Overlapping road wheels trap mud and freeze in Russian winters. The transmission breaks constantly. The engine overheats. It drinks fuel like water. For every hour of combat, a Tiger needs 10 hours of maintenance. German crews joke they spend more time fixing their Tigers than fighting in them. The Tiger can only travel about 100 kilometers before refueling. In Russia, where battles rage across hundreds of kilometers, this is a disaster. Tigers run out of fuel mid-battle and have to be abandoned. More Tigers are lost to fuel shortage than to enemy fire. Weight becomes a curse. At 60 tons, the Tiger can't cross most bridges. Engineers have to build special bridges, or Tigers ford rivers, which is slow and dangerous. When rivers are too deep, Tigers can't advance. Entire offensives halt because Tigers can't keep up. There's another problem. By 1943, Allied air superiority is absolute. Tigers become priority targets. Allied pilots spot them and call in strikes. Rockets, bombs, Tigers that survive tank battles are destroyed from above. One Tiger commander describes it: "We weren't afraid of enemy tanks. We were afraid of the sky. Every time we heard an engine, we knew we might be dead. And there was nothing we could do." By late 1944, Germany is running out of everything: steel, fuel, experienced crews. But Hitler orders Tigers into the Battle of the Bulge, Germany's last major offensive. December, snow, ice, terrible conditions. Tigers break down in the cold, get stuck in snow, run out of fuel 50 kilometers from the front. Of the 45 Tigers that start the offensive, only a handful make it to combat. The rest are abandoned. American soldiers find them intact, just sitting there. Crew gone. Fuel empty. That becomes the symbol of the Tiger's failure. This incredible weapon, defeated not by enemy tanks but by its own flaws. By complexity, by fuel consumption, by the reality that building 1,300 supertanks doesn't win a war when your enemy builds 50,000 regular tanks. After the war, the Allies capture every Tiger they can find. They test them, study them. Engineers are shocked by the power, but they also see the flaws, the over-engineering. Soviet General Georgy Zhukov later says, "The Tiger was the best tank we faced, but thank God the Germans built Tigers instead of more Panzer IVs. If they'd built 4,000 Panzer IVs instead of 1,300 Tigers, the war might have lasted another year." Today, only a handful of Tigers survive. Only one still runs. Tiger 131, captured in Tunisia in 1943. It's at the Tank Museum in Bovington, England. When it drives at tank shows, when that 60-ton beast rumbles across the field, people still understand why Allied tank crews were terrified 80 years ago. The Tiger tank. A weapon so powerful it changed how tank battles were fought. So feared it gave soldiers nightmares. And so flawed it could never fulfill its purpose. The Germans tried to build the perfect tank, and they succeeded. But perfection doesn't win wars. Numbers do. Reliability does. The Allies won not because they had better tanks. They won because they had more tanks. Simpler tanks. Tanks that worked. When your Tiger breaks down, when it runs out of fuel, when it's too heavy to cross the bridge, all that armor means nothing. The Tiger tank, the beast Allied crews feared, and the beast Germany couldn't afford to build.